I started art and fiber about maybe 40 years ago in my 20s. Prior to that, I was a painter and drawing. I switched to fiber because I was searching and searching for a medium that would express my emotional feelings, my internal feelings, which is really what I've been about for quite a while. And I started taking fashion design classes for quite a while. I did that, and then I kind of moved away from there and became very interested in fiber sculpture. But in terms of fiber, I've been through almost every mode of fiber, felt making, weaving, everything, you name it, I've done it. And when I was in my 40s, I got a scholarship to go to the School of the Art Institute, and that's where I started to really progress on the work that I wanted to do. And I began by taking photographs of nature. I'm an avid walker and a hiker, and I like to go through forest preserves and nature parks, things like that. And I started doing these very close-up pictures, very detailed pictures of nature, and bringing them back to my studio and using them as a reference. While I was at the Art Institute, I started playing around with synthetic materials, which is something I'd never done. Prior to that, I'd used all natural materials because that was the way it was supposed to be, and I thought, well, I'm going to break that mold. So I started experimenting with all kinds of different synthetic materials, and then by accident one night I was extremely aggravated. I was in the studio, I couldn't come up with something for a class I was doing, and I started taking burning things, which may or may not be good for you, but I had a material and I started to burn it, and it just had this most beautiful surface, very organic, which is exactly what I was looking for. The organic surfaces of plants, animals, anything in nature has always fascinated me. Even things that are decaying, like buildings, has always been a fascination for me. So I took this material and I went with it, and the name of the material is Tyvek, and Tyvek is actually a building and material. They use it on houses. If you drive around your neighborhood, you may see a house in construction and see house wrap on it. It'll say Tyvek on it. I ended up using a medical grade of Tyvek, which is used for to keep out germs. It's the kind of medical suits that you sometimes see on workers. So that's the type of material that this is. The way in which I work with this material is an interesting thing. It's actually, I have to dye it first. That's how I get some of the color. And you see all the colors here. I dye it first, and then I use a heat treatment on it, usually an iron, a blowtorch, wood burning tool, any type of things. And as I heat treat these things, I get these wonderful textures, and I get different textures each time. And it's taken me almost 10, 12 years to get it to the point where I know exactly where that texture is going to go. And you get a lot of accidents. Things just burn up and are incinerated, and that's the end of it. But through all that, I've developed this technique. And my work is, a lot of it is about, it's about memory, it's about excavating memory, about archaeology. I'm very interested in archaeology, going through layers and leaving off old layers. And as an archaeologist, they're very astute at finding various things within layers as they look through them. My work, if you look closely at my work, you'll notice that there are just fragments, other fragments of pebbles amongst the layers. And even when I build the work, I build it in layers. Each layer kind of is denoting something like the passage of time for me. And I think that it's just something that's been gone through my work for probably since I was young, because I used to collect, nature and all kinds of things when I was young. So I think that this is really where I'm going, and I think by taking these classes at the Art Institute as an adult, it really crystallized my vision, and I've been able to move forward from there. Currently, I'm actually kind of trying to combine natural materials with the synthetic materials. So as you see here in these pieces here, I'm starting to take the natural things, the leaves and the sticks, and work them together with the synthetic materials that I use here. And they actually work quite well. They actually, because of the organic surface, they seem to really blend and work in with the rest of the material. And I think I'm looking into the future. I have some projects on the road right now where I have a couple solo shows that I'm working towards. And I'm working on a project called Tailings, which is like the tail end of a process in which I'm developing a series of scrolls which will be synthetic, which will be embroidery, which will be just kind of adding everything. And the scrolls are sort of indicative of accumulations of memories, accumulations of things that drop off, and they're going to be in boxes on the wall. And I think that if I look at what I want to do in the future, even if you look into 10 years, 12 years, I would envision a really large solo show in a very large place, and I'd like to do some very sizable pieces, that would fill a very large wall, a very large room. I hope that I can do that in the future. And I think in general, I just want people to see my vision and get from it what they want. It doesn't necessarily have to be what I think about, but if they get something from it that they see, that's really what my heart's desire is. And that's really what I'd like to convey with my work.